A question of motives. Saints or thieves? They fought for God, but did they kill for gold? This single stark question cuts to the very heart of the Crusades, a period of history that provokes both profound pride and deep sorrow. The image of a noble knight marching under a banner of faith is powerful. Yet behind piety lurks a darker possibility: greed, a thirst for land, and the cold calculus of profit. The story of the First Crusade begins not on a battlefield, but in a field in Clermont, France, in the year 1095. It was there that Pope Urban II delivered one of the most influential speeches in history, a call to arms that would echo across Europe. Addressing clergy and laypeople, he painted a harrowing picture of the East, Christians suffering under the Seljuk Turks, and the desecration of Jerusalem. His words evoked righteous anger, profound sympathy and duty. He declared a holy pilgrimage, an armed act of penance with remission of sins for those who took up the cross. The cry, Deus vult, God wills it, signaled the birth of a movement. Pilgrims sewed crosses to their garments, a visible vow and sacred purpose. They set their eyes on Christ's tomb. Answering the Pope's call required an almost unimaginable leap of faith. Men from every station, powerful dukes, landless knights, humble peasants, priests, prepared to leave their lives. They sold lands, mortgaged property, gathered meager savings. Families were torn apart, wives and children left behind. Taking the cross was a public, irreversible vow to God. The People's Crusade, ill-equipped and fervent, spiraled into chaos. They clashed with locals and were annihilated in Anatolia. The princes learned faith alone could not win the road to Jerusalem. It required steel, strategy, and resilience. They faced scorching heat, freezing winters, starvation, and disease. Many died before seeing battle. Diaries speak of a daily battle for survival that tested faith to its limits. Horrific sieges, despair, and still they prayed. They captured Antioch after a brutal siege and believed they found the Holy Lance, a miracle that reignited morale, inspiring victory against a larger army. That conviction kept them going. While many were driven by profound faith, material desire surged beneath. In 11th century Europe, primogeniture left younger nobles landless, trained for war, lacking an outlet. The crusade was practical as well as spiritual. The East promised wealth and territory. A man might carve out a lordship, perhaps a kingdom. The promise of loot was explicit. Captured cities and people were at the mercy of conquerors. Silks, spices, gold, and other exotic treasures filled imaginations. Plunder was a tangible reward. Many framed it as just, and the Italian Republic saw the greatest business venture in history. The capture of Jerusalem on July 15th, 1099, culminated years of brutal fighting and unimaginable hardship. They knelt, fasting and praying for divine aid. An army on a spiritual quest to reclaim Christ's city. Emaciated and outnumbered, they launched a desperate assault. After fierce fighting, they broke in, a moment of triumph that descended into infamy. Days of horrific, indiscriminate slaughter. Men, women, children, Muslims and Jews. Chroniclers wrote of blood to the horses' knees, an image of horror. Then looting, gold, silver, precious fabrics, anything of value. How could supreme devotion accompany such cruelty and avarice? Then back to piety, thanks given to God, tears sincere. The dual identity of the Crusader laid bare, men of God and men of greed. Framed in spiritual terms, the movement grew entangled with secular ambitions. Popes used crusades to assert authority over Christendom, even the Eastern Church. Kings sought prestige and power, not only piety. They raised taxes, mustered armies, centralized rule. Frederick II regained Jerusalem by treaty and was excommunicated. New states, Jerusalem, Antioch, Tripoli, Edessa, reshaped politics. Patronage networks bound Europe to the Holy Land. The Fourth Crusade, diverted by Venetian interests and debt, led to the brutal sack of a Christian capital, a triumph of greed over God. The ideal mocked by profit and power, the Crusades reshaped Europe's financial world. Costs were staggering, spurring banking innovations. The Templars evolved into a powerful financial institution. Pilgrims deposited funds in Europe and withdrew them in the Holy Land. Crusader ports opened secure routes to Eastern riches. Spices, silks, sugar, cottons flowed in volume. Italian republics set posts, colonies, and ruled the lanes. Profits surged, stimulating a rising merchant class. Commerce fueled wars. Wars protected commerce. Wealth financed art and architecture. Venice, Florence. Feudal bonds waned as cities and money economies rose. Beyond popes, kings, faith, and greed lies the human cost. Families broken, many never returned. Women bore farms and homes alone, with grief and hardship. Dozens of untold losses and destitution. Some bands turned on Jews in Europe. Massacres, burnings, coercion. In the East, invasions, sacked cities, subjugation. Foreign rule sowed conflict and bitterness for generations. Hundreds of thousands died in battle, siege, disease, starvation, massacre. Whatever the motives, faith or greed, the price was blood and tears. How should we judge the Crusades today? Neither wholly sacred nor entirely profane. Highest ideals and basest impulses intertwined. Many marched with pure faith, enduring unimaginable suffering. Yet greed, ambition, and opportunism drove events again and again. A knight could weep at dawn and kill for plunder by dusk, seeing no contradiction. It reveals our capacity to justify violence and greed for a higher cause. Religion plus worldly ambition is a potent, dangerous mix. The past provides evidence, the judgment is ours.